First off, I want to thank the grace of heaven and the virtues of the masters, the mercy of the grand predecessors, transmitting masters, lectures, and everyone here today for this opportunity to talk about this topic, recognize the Tao Society. So this, when we talk about the Tao Society, it's more than just, the temple, right? The physical temple. It includes, talks about the people behind it, and also you can say the history, the lineage, okay, and also the golden thread. So those are very important. And also you can say the spirit, okay, the spirit of this, the temple, the spirit of the cultivation and propagation of the Tao. Okay, all right. So what is the Tao Society, right? Sometimes we use the word, Tao community, right? Or I guess another word is Tao field. Okay, so the tradition and lineage, tradition or lineage or transmission of heaven's mandate and the true teaching of the Tao. Okay, so that's obviously that is what the core or the foundation of the Tao Society, right, comes from the transmission of the Tao, right? Now, this came, and heaven's mandate. All right, so this is kind of what distinguishes, I guess you can say, the Tao from religions. All right, religions. Although religions, you can say they have a mandate. Originally, they all had this heaven's mandate. Okay, before they kind of become religion, just pure religion, because they originally had the Tao. But the Tao, what sets it apart from religions is this heaven's mandate. Okay, this is the authority given by God, Lamu, to transmit this Tao, right? Now, okay, so this Tao Society, it includes the people and the places of the Tao learning and practice. So that includes, of course, now we have temples, right? We have public temples, we have, family temples, and these are places, okay, so it says external places to learn and practice the Tao, right? Where we can go to physically, right? We can go to these temples, our Tao temples first to receive the Tao, and then to continue to learn and study and practice the Tao, right? And we can cultivate as well and perform merits. Okay, all these things that a temple is good for. Now that's the external, all right, aspect of a temple or Tao Society, I guess. The other would be an internal, all right? So everything, remember, the Tao is both. It's not just one or the other, right? It's not internal or external. It's both, So there's not. It's non. Tao is non-duality, right? It's or you can say it incorporates both sides of duality, like in yin and yang, right? But they're merged into one, all right? But so that's why when we talk about there's an external aspect, there's always an internal aspect. So the Tao Society, the internal, it would be, I guess maybe call it better, the Tao field. The internal Tao field is within our heart and mind, right? It's the internal place to cultivate the Tao. It is a clean and pure and tranquil place. Okay, so this is that's why we seek, right? Not just externally, the cultivation and the practice, of course, it involves a lot of the external aspect, but also the internal. Okay, so cultivating our heart and mind, trying to align our heart and mind with our Buddha nature, the Buddha heart and mind, the Buddha mind. Okay, so, and that means, following all those principles, following our conscience, following all those principles of that Buddha mind. Okay, and then that's what we learn. We go to the temple, the external temple, to learn these things, right? And then the practice, of course, it's both external and internal, right? The Tao Society is also a place for enlightenment and attainment of Tao, right? So now, obviously, enlightenment can take place anytime, anywhere. All right. So you hear all those stories of the past masters, When they became enlightened, they could have been just doing anything and any time. Okay, it's not sitting there in a temple meditating that they become enlightened, right? So, but this is for us. We're not, we're not at that level, right? So, probably we need a lot of help to become enlightened, and so we have to study, learn a lot, and practice a lot. And so we, a lot of that happens in the temple. And in the temple, we also have the proprieties, the rules and regulations that we follow in the temple. Okay, so those are all there to help us, to guide us, to get us on that path, the right track towards enlightenment, right? And ultimately towards the attainment of Tao. Attainment meaning achievement, final achievement, right? Once we've fulfilled, you can say fulfilled our vows here, and also basically, performed or achieved in terms of our merits and virtues. Okay, then ultimately, then we've transcended this world, and hopefully we're on our way to becoming a Buddha. Okay, now the Vimalakirti Sutra says that the Tao field is everywhere as long as the Buddha is in our heart and mind. So the Tao field, it's not just the physical temple where you go to a temple. Okay, so right now I'm in a temple. This is where the Tao is, but the Tao field is actually, it's everywhere. It doesn't have to be in the temple. Okay, it could be out in the street. It could be it could be at work. It could be anywhere, as long as we have that Buddha in our heart and mind. Right. So if we are following the Buddha, our Buddha nature, following our conscience at any time, and we maintain that mindset, that Buddha mind, then that's where the Tao field is. So the Tao field is with us. Okay, no matter where we are. Right. So that's so that's the internal aspect. But you can say that that's important because it depends on us, right? It's within us to determine whether where if we are in the Tao field or not. So we can actually be physically, I can go to the temple physically, but if the Buddha is not in our mind, heart and mind, then it's useless, right? Then you can say that you're physically in the Tao field, but your heart and mind is not. So then what's good of that, right? So ultimately, the most important thing is inside, in our heart and mind, that we have the Buddha, or the Buddha heart and mind, right? Now, the Tao Society is a warm home for the soul, okay? Our soul, in essence, comes from God, right? We are disciples of the living Buddha, holy teacher, okay? Now, XinMin, who are the predecessors, they're like our parents leading the Tao Kin, which, Tao Kin are all the people who receive the Tao, to be like saints internally and kings externally. That's a little translation of there's a Chinese phrase says, 内圣外王, but basically we like saints. Okay, so that's what we emulating, we're learning to be like the saints and sages and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, right? So internally, obviously, that means our virtues. We cultivate those virtues, and externally, we treat everyone accordingly. Okay. Now, internally, family. So internally, basically not. Okay, so we're talking about families. Families can cultivate Tao and all become Jingzi. Jingzi is a noble person. Okay, superior. A noble person, practicing the principles of the cardinal relationships, right? The relationships we all, since we live in society, we are part of society. We know, what is it? No man is an island, right? We belong in a society. We have relationships with like our parents, children, family, friends, etc. Okay, and so these are those relationships. Transforming countless families and establishing a strong force for a stable society, right? So again, you can say starting internally, obviously the individual, the heart and mind, and then the next level out would be the family, right? So if the family can be cultivating, practicing Tao, they create this little harmony at home among the family members. If all families can do that, or at least all cultivating families can do that, then that would be the foundation for a stable and harmonious society, right? Today we don't see it because there just aren't that many, the vast majority of families, you can say, or people are not cultivating, right? They're not really truly cultivating the Tao. So that's why we don't see it. But that's kind of like the goal, and it starts from every individual and every family, okay, to kind of build up this foundation. Now, externally, right, we spread the Tao, okay, spreading the model of the Tao from Taiwan to the rest of the world. All right, so yeah, actually it was in China, okay. So we're talking about the white era during this past century. The Tao was in China, and then it went to Taiwan, and then from Taiwan and also Hong Kong, spread to the rest of the world. All right, so this is, it's pretty, it's quite an achievement actually. Although, yeah, I mean, it's although you can say that still not very many people have received the Tao, right? But still, there's, the Tao is not, the way it gets propagated is not the same as religions, okay, where, it's just, you can advertise, you can just, anyone can kind of join, but in the Tao, of course, you have to have that affinity, right? The introducer and guarantor. The Tao Society home is a place to contribute to and share the value of life. Yeah, I mean, this, hopefully, we talk about life, the meaning of life, what is important in life. Perhaps our view is a little bit different than the outside society, what their view of life is, or what's important in life, right? They might emphasize a lot on the material things. Of course, as we learn and we cultivate and practice, we know that, yeah, those material things are only temporary. They're useful, of course, but there's no need to fight over these things, right? And no need to be greedy and try to get more as much as possible, the material stuff. Ultimately, those are not, it won't help us. They won't help us actually in cultivating and ultimately, achieving on this path of enlightenment and Buddhahood, right? Okay, so this Yiguan Dao, okay, so that's kind of the official name for the Dao. Okay, this Dao tradition or this Dao practice is already, well, Yiguan Dao, it basically means the all-pervading Dao. Okay, the one Dao that's all-pervading. Okay, is already the realization of a warm and peaceful society, and is a force that continues to develop greater influence on society at large. Now, yeah, this is an ideal. Okay, this is like the ideal. Okay, of course, we all experience, we don't experience the perfect environment, even in the temple, okay? Right? Because not everyone is enlightened yet. And so people, even though they may be cultivating or, they've received it out, they may be cultivating or practicing, but they're still maybe stuck on the forms, attachments, to material things or fame or power, et cetera. Okay, all these things are still there. So I'm not saying that in the Tao Society everything is perfect. It's not. It's a work in progress. Okay, it's a work in progress. But at least the principles, the true principles, are there. And if we choose to follow them, then we can create that more perfect society. Okay, but of course, that depends on us whether we choose to follow it or not, right? So this is how, ultimately, again, this will be the foundation for creating that society, that that harmonious society. Okay. So what's the focus of the Tao? Excuse me, of the Tao society? It's transmit the Tao. Okay, for one, that's obvious that we have to first receive the Tao, right? And that is to basically inspire the conscience and the capability of utmost good that's within each of us. Okay, so we all have a conscience, and we all have that capability, that innate ability or potential to do what is good, to do the utmost, the highest good. Okay, like compassion, expressing compassion as an example, one of the virtues. Okay, of being good. So one thing is that we need to protect and sustain heaven's mandate, right? Remember, this is what distinguishes the Tao from religions. And without this mandate, heaven's mandate, then all we have is religion. Okay, so that's why it's important. Now, so this heaven's mandate, where is this? This is right now. We have transmitting masters, right? The transmitting masters, they have this heaven's mandate to transmit the Tao, the three treasures. Okay. Now, if so a transmitting master is, we have to respect them. I mean, what we respect is this mandate that they have. Okay, and so we do our best to protect that. Okay, because again, if without this mandate, then we're just no different from religions. All right. So and the transmitting the Tao. Okay, so it teaches the true mind dharma or heart dharma. Okay, this is basically three treasures, and because of Maitreya Buddhas, the happy Buddhas, his compassionate vow, right? We basically, as long as we are sincere and we truly cultivate, transform ourselves, okay, then yes, we are, you can say we are under the protection, you can say, of Maitreya Buddha. Maitreya Buddha, of course, he is I guess you can say the Buddha in charge during this white era. Okay, he's the we call him the Grand Patriarch. Okay, but so and it's his his vow to transform this world, right, into you can say a paradise, into what do you call it, the Pure Land, the Lotus, the Pure Land. Okay. And of course, that's all can be done through the Tao Society. All right, so, and then also the second is to teach and to transform. Okay, so obviously we teach moral integrity and human dignity. These are virtues, right? How we should behave, how we should conduct ourselves as a human being, right? Where is our sense of humanity? Okay, right? The Tao of heaven. In order to achieve the Tao of heaven or attain the Tao of heaven, we have to cultivate the Tao of humanity. Okay, so that's where the moral integrity, the dignity comes in. Of course, in the Tao temple which is a little bit different from like in a lot of religious temples or other places. Our focus we have more of a focus, I guess, on classes where we're learning, okay, whereas others might do more other types of practice, okay. But so after we receive the Tao, we can attend a dharmic. Typically, it's a 2-day Dharma class for us. Okay, some temples it's a 3-day Dharma class, but 2-day Dharma class that's really kind of, that's for most people anyways who receive the Tao, that's like their first official kind of class that they attend. Okay, now there might be other like you can say introductory classes that they might attend first before Dharma class. But Dharma class is very special. We all need to attend, once we receive the Tao, we all need to attend the Dharma class once in our lifetime, right? To be a class member in a Dharma class once in a lifetime, and to graduate, right? To take those 2 vows at the end. Because it's not just for us, it benefits our ancestors as well. Okay. And then beyond that, after that, then we can go on to this 5-year curriculum, 5-year course class, which is to basically nurture, to train future, well, I mean, we say staff, temple hosts, lecturers, okay. So that's, and then, so right now, right, this class right now is the XinMin, which is the new member, the first year class, okay, of that. It doesn't mean that everyone has to become a lecturer, okay? It's just that, they have, for lecturers at least, it's a more rigorous process, and they have to go through all these, and then they have to be tested, things like that, okay, to become a lecturer. Cultivation, basically practice the Bodhisattva way, right? The way, which is the greater vehicle way, which is to not just cultivate for ourselves, but to help others to cultivate, help others to achieve enlightenment as well, right? So that's why we ferry people, right? We ferry people. We don't, it's not that we just come to the temple, we learn, and we just cultivate ourselves, and we don't care about anyone else. It's not like that. Okay, that's how it used to be in the ancient times, but not today, because we're in the white era. It's the time of universal salvation of the 3 realms. So we have to, propagate the Tao, and that's also how you can achieve the this Tao society transforming, the whole world, right? The world into that world of great harmony. Okay. Okay, so what is the ideal of the Tao society, right? To create a happy and fulfilling life. Well, ultimately, the ideal of Confucius, right? His what we call the world of great harmony, right? I think we've talked about that before. So Confucius, over 2,500 years ago, had stated, maybe you can say it's a statement. Okay, he made a statement, a visionary statement of what the world of great harmony would be like. Okay, what are the characteristics of that? But how does he didn't? I mean, he does talk about how to achieve that through his other teachings that he talked about. He talks about all the those cardinal relationships, how we should conduct ourselves as a human being. Okay. Now the Grand Patriarch Maitreya, right? He made that vow to create the pure land on earth, which is essentially that world of great harmony, right? And then also and again, this is kind of like through the Tao, okay, that we do that, can achieve that. And also there's the great vow of Sujin and Sumu, the 18th patriarch, matriarch. Okay, so so the Grand Patriarch is the 17th patriarch, and then Sujin and Sumu are 18th. To enlighten fairy sentient beings. So they have that mission right now there are holy teachers to fairy sentient beings to transmit the Tao to them, and try to encourage them to cultivate. Well, of course, I mean they're not here now, so it depends on us, right, to do that. to continue to carry on this mission. And so the transmitting masters, they have the mandate, from our Sijun and Sumu, okay, to continue to transmit the Tao. So, to transform and fairy sentient beings to the origin or absolute heaven or the eternal heaven. That's our origin. To revive the Tao tradition in the world. You can say it's the tradition of Confucius, okay, his teachings, to revive that in the world, and to change the customs and trends, transform the world into a great harmony, right? Because obviously the way society is going, it's not going in the right direction. Okay, right. So the practice. Okay. So happiness and blessings, right? These are goals that people seek in life, but we have to make adjustments, right, to the material and spiritual aspects of our lives, including establishing and maintaining a healthy mind and body, reducing our wants and desires, right, deepening our sincerity and increasing our faith, right, widening the circle of compassion through relinquishment, letting go, and giving to society, right, finding contentment, elevating ourselves to conform to the ideal. So gaining happiness and blessings comes from the harmony of our body, mind, and spirit. Now, the practice of Tao is the saint's ideal, right? Even more so, to transform the world into a lotus or pure land. That's Maitreya's vow. So the ideal also includes transforming the fairy sentient beings, which is our holy teacher's compassionate vow as well, right? It's also the holy duty of our Lao Chenan, our grand predecessor, and Chenan predecessors, who have inherited and sustained the aspirations and virtues of the holy teachers, right? And continue the tradition of the holy teachers. Right. So the Tao Society creates a harmonious and fulfilling environment for us to practice the Tao, and gives us the opportunity to influence our families in every corner of society. Now, so this Tao practice, it's been around for thousands of years. And so that's why Mencius said, when the world is drowning, right, save it with the Tao, right? So that's been the aspiration of these saints and sages. So during the course of learning the Tao, right, the Chenan have maintained the aspiration of the holy teachers and guided us like climbing the steps of a ladder. The starting point has been to inspire the conscience and innate capabilities of that utmost good within us. Right, it's also to let us know and understand our true nature so that we can cherish ourselves even more. And then when we can teach and guide others to also transform themselves. It's the same as what we say in, when we talk about the purpose or aim of Tao, right? We talked about that, to establish oneself and help others become established, to achieve oneself and to help others to achieve. All right, so the final destination is to reach the utmost good of our true self nature and the world of great harmony, where every family has Tao and every nation is good. Okay. Okay, so we can't talk about the Tao Society without also talking about the golden thread, okay? Because this is kind of the core of the Tao Society. So it's our link to heaven, right? Now internally, okay, before I talk about this is kind of the external here, but internally, our link to heaven is our Buddha nature. Okay, that's our link to God. That's okay. But externally, then you can say that there is this lineage. There's this, I don't know, you could say heritage or tradition, right? For us, and this is kind of abbreviated because you can also, extend this to include all 64 patriarchs. But we say for the white era, it starts from Lamu or God, and then to Grand Patriarch, 17th Patriarch, and then to the 18th Patriarch, Matriarch, okay, Sujin Sumu, and then to the Lao Chenan, the Grand Predecessor, and then Chenan Predecessor, and then also to Transmitting Masters, either the Senior Transmitting Masters, and then the the introducer and guarantor. Okay, they're the ones who kind of bring us in to to receive the Tao. And so that is our link. That's the golden, what we call the golden thread. And this is very important, okay, because it's kind of knowing our roots, right? Where we come from, how we got this Tao. All right. So that's also very important to know our root. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit about each of these. Okay. So is Lao Tzu, okay, basically the Grand Patriarch. He's also known as弥勒 or Maitreya. Okay, Maitreya, Maitreya Grand Patriarch. Oh. All right, so he's the first patriarch of the White Era. So basically, from 1905 to 1925 he had the mandate carrying out this mission. Okay. And in 1925, basically, he fulfilled his mission on Earth, returned to heaven, and God had given him the title of Jingong Zusi. Yeah, I guess Jingong Grand Patriarch, something like that. Okay, so he has what we call this heavenly post. He's like the big boss during this White Era. Okay, among the Buddhas, Okay. And then so we go to the 18th, which are the second patriarch of the White Era, and there's only two. Okay, I mean there's only two generations, you can say. So Sujin, we refer to him also as our holy teacher. He had the mandate from 1930 to 1947, and then it was during this time that the Tao was starting to spread pretty widely in China. And because, you can say for logistical management reasons, it kind of got, you end up with these 18 Iguandao groups, 18 groups under the 18th patriarch. Okay. Okay, so I mean, it's all the Tao. Okay, they're all the Tao. The three treasures, the same transmission, all that. It's just that over time, maybe there's some slight differences in terms of their proprieties. Okay, there might be some slight differences there, but generally it should be pretty much the same. All right. Again, this is, the purpose, it was really, you can say it's due to affinity and, managing these large numbers of Dao Kin, right? Okay. And then, so after he completed his mission in 1947, so it's pretty short time on Earth, then he got the title of Tenran Gufu. Okay, literally translated as Tenran Ancient Buddha, or Tenran is nature or natural. Okay, you can say that this also means that it's a time to return back to nature. Okay, right now, so he has the Tao post, as opposed to the heavenly post, right? So the Tao post is under the heavenly post, so you can say that he reports to Maitreya, okay, with the heavenly post, right? And okay, so but the Tao post is responsible for transmitting the Tao. So at the same time, our Simu, which is also our female holy teacher, who got the mandate at the same time, but okay, and then she completed her mission in 1975. Okay, so again, these 18 Iguandao groups are also under her. And she, when she returned to heaven, completing the mission on Earth, she got the title of Zonghua Samu, which is, you can say Divine Matriarch of China, or something like that. Okay, so we had two holy teachers. Okay, who are responsible for the transmission of the Tao. Okay, so these are the Iguandao. So that we look at it as a whole, right, we have these groups, the 18 groups. We are one of them, the one in yellow here, Phi E. Ours is called Phi E. Okay. And under ours, Phi E, okay, then further divided, okay, into units, I guess, or maybe say branches or units of the Phi E group. Because each of these groups can be pretty big. Probably like the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least the first 5 of these are pretty big. And then the others are probably kind of small. And then some are really small, and some may not even be active anymore. Okay. But so the Phi E group is one of the big ones. And within it, there are these various units. Here I list 12 of them. But I think right now there are 15. These 12 existed during at the time while our grand predecessor Lao Chenin was still here. Okay, so there are 3 more were added afterwards. But the first 4 here, 从的、灵隐、天元 and Tenan, these are the biggest ones, the biggest units within the Phi E. Okay. And Tongyi, that's ours. So we would be called Phi E Tongyi. It's relatively small. Yeah. And okay. And then some of these are also small too. Okay. Okay. All right. So now, the Phi E, right? So for the Phi E group, they are under our Lao Chenin. So there are many Lao Chenins, right? Each of these groups has one or more Lao Chenin for that group. Okay. And then underneath that, within the units of that group, then you have one or more Chenin for each of these units, right? So that's kind of the organization. So our Lao Chenin, Grand Predecessor Han, right? He 1901 to 1995. Basically, now so the patriarchs, right? They're only Sijun and Sumu are the last patriarchs. However, since the Tao must continue, right? So just because Sumu returned to heaven in 1975, that doesn't mean that the Tao is no longer being transmitted after that, right? In fact, there were Lamu through a series of sand writings, I think it's in Japan and Taiwan, basically told Grand Predecessor Lao Chenin that he will continue with the mandate that they had. So it's kind of representing them, but he's not a patriarch. Okay. So under him, he has the 12 units under Phi E. Now there's 15, but Grand Predecessor is not here anymore. But in 1995, he returned to heaven, completing his mission here. He got the title of Bai Shui Sun Di. Okay, so I don't know, you can call that Saintly King of Pure Water or something like that. All right, titles don't necessarily translate very well, right? Okay, so under our Lao Chenin, then our Chenin, so this would be for the Phi E Tongyi unit, okay? For our unit, is predecessor Liu. Now, unfortunately, you see, he passed away in 1972, which is even before the matriarch, all right? And so basically, and when he returned back to heaven, he got the title of Da De Zhenjun. You can say, immortal sage of great virtue, something like that. Okay. So, when we do the bowing, right? The bowing before class normally, right? Before class, and also the morning and evening incense bowing, offering bowing, the bows there, the katos. That includes all these, okay, includes them, okay, pretty much, everyone in the golden thread, okay. Now, here we have another Chenin. technically, well, okay, so Dada Zhenjing, you know, he's our Chenin, right? But because he passed away early, right, returned to heaven early in 1972, then Lao Chenin appointed this other, this also happens to be surnamed Liu, to also this Chenin to kind of oversee our Fa Yi Tong Yi, okay, unit, to help us out, all right? Now he was actually, you know, they were together, the two of them, and you can say that this predecessor Liu was underneath our, you know, Dada Zhenjing for a while, but you know, then, you know, basically he had his own unit, and but so he kind of helped us for between 1972 and 1985. Okay. So when he returned, so we also do the kato to this Chenin, okay, Hui Yuan Da Sui, his title, you can say is Marshal of Complete Wisdom. And then we have Lao Dinanzi, okay, the Senior Transmitting Master Cui, okay, basically, okay, so now he's also, well, up until 2013, right? So he returned to heaven as well. He was the acting Chenin, or predecessor, okay, of the Fa Yi Tong Yi. So obviously after, you know, both Chenins, you know, the second Chenin in 1985 also went returned to heaven. Holy Teacher, you know, said that basically the Senior Transmitting Master Cui at that time would be would represent the predecessor, the Chenin, okay. So he'd be the acting Chenin. And then so when he returned to heaven, he received the title of Le Dao Zhenjing, or you can say immortal sage of joyful Dao, right? Okay. Oh. Okay. Well, all right. So this is right. So this is actually a scripture by Holy Teacher. It's a song. Okay. So to the melody of this song, Shepherd. Right? So basically it says, Chenin footsteps took a difficult journey, right, to pioneer Tao, leaving home reluctantly, fearing neither wind nor rain, blazing a great bright trail, right? So all the predecessors, grand predecessors, right, the journey that they took to propagate this Tao, to spread this Tao to other countries, right? It was more difficult than we can imagine, right? Because we don't haven't encountered that kind of difficulties. And they had to really give up, you know, relinquish, give up a lot of everything, family, business, work, everything. Okay. And you know, they just did it because just for the Tao, because they know how precious Tao is, without regard for basically you know, all the hardships and difficulties, adversities that they have to face. And in so doing, they kind of blazed this trail, this paved the road for us, made it easier for those who came later, right? So in the spirit of Sage King Yu, stopping the floods. So this is kind of a story of he's also one of the patriarchs now. Back in the time, I guess it's the Shah dynasty, something like that. It's like thousands of years ago, right? And there's a lot of flooding. The story is that, you know, he was, well, before he became the Sage King, he was appointed to deal with the floods, okay, that we were having. And he was able to stop the floods. And but during those years that he was doing that, even though he passed by his mother's house, he never stopped by to see his mother. Okay, so he was just so focused on his task, his duty. Right? So passing his home 3 times, not visiting his mother. Right? So we must be a shepherd wholeheartedly. We must follow Chenin's footsteps, propagate Equine Tao the world over. Right? So so that's you know, so it's always good to learn about these Chenin, about those people, those patriarchs, those who came before us, to kind of inspire us to continue to at least to you know inspire us to learn and practice more and to propagate the Tao. So we're like kind of like shepherds, right? Shepherds, tending to the flock. It's a similar thing in the Bible, right? So anyways, all right. So this is kind of a scripture. This is a scripture, and basically it's drawn on it is a world map and showing Taiwan here and the rays, the radiant light, I guess, spreading from there. So this is just showing, how the Tao is just propagated throughout the world from Taiwan, and that's actually another scripture. Yeah. All right, but okay. So let's talk about Hua Yi Tong Yi, right? Our units, the Tao Society, right? So started in 1947 in Taiwan when our predecessor XinMin went to Taiwan under the instructions of Lao XinMin. Our main temple there is the Tong Yi Gong, all right. And then there's also, so we have basically two big temples there. Our headquarters temple is Tong Yi Gong. The other big temple is Yu Fo Gong. Okay. Now there's also this Ci Fa Gong and a Hui Yin Gong. Okay, so these are actually under different XinMin now because they kind of because they've expanded, they developed a lot, and so they also have their own XinMin. But they did start out from under our Da De Zhenjing, okay, XinMin. Okay. In Indonesia, we have basically this temple called Cunhui Ruyan. Okay, so I'm just pointing out some of these temples, right? These public temples. But you'll notice that it's actually, they are the names of these people, these predecessors, and the ones in that golden thread. Okay, so Cunhui Ruyan. Cunhui is another name for our predecessor, okay, Da De Zhenjing. In Malaysia, we have Bai Sui Sentang, which is Bai Sui is the name of a grand predecessor. New Zealand, we have Zhonghua Sen Dao Yuan, okay, so that's our matriarch, 18th matriarch. In Cambodia, we have Da De Ho Yuan, okay, again, that's our predecessor. In Macau, we have Le Dao Ho Yuan, which is the senior transmitting master Chui. Okay, so he's Le Dao Zhenjing now. Okay. In the U.S., we started in 1974 with senior transmitting master Jin coming with the family to the U.S. And starting with their home temple, family temple, Tongren, right? It's still there in Teaneck in New Jersey. Then there was a public temple called Tongde Tang, okay. That's probably our first public temple here in the U.S. And then there's also Tongji Temple. I don't know if it's public or not, but that was also one of the early temples. And then we have彌勒寶堂, Happy Buddha's Precious Temple right now in New York. So that's now our main temple, public temple here. And then from there, then we have Tenan Temple in Ohio. So Tenan, okay, so obviously this Happy Buddha Precious, that's Maitreya, okay, named after Maitreya Buddha. And then Tenan Temple, okay, named after a holy teacher, Sujun, okay. And then Yulin Foryan in California, it's named after, again, that's another name or nickname for our grand predecessor. We have Jinghua Otang, so that also in California, that's after one of our transmitters who returned to heaven. So this is kind of our lineage, you can say, part of our lineage. And then now in Iowa, we also have a Puti Shen, which is Bodhi Temple, okay, the public temple there. So these are kind of our public temples. Now, in every Tao society, there's what we call the Tao Center. And this is kind of like you can say the decision, the planning and some of the decision making goes on here, where you have transmitting masters, lectures, and temple hosts. Okay. There's the collective leadership and decision-making, overall policy management of the Tao society. Now, then, transmitting masters tend to have, they're like generally responsible for certain temples, Tao fields and temples, right? The Tao Center also kind of tries to plan a little bit about the Tao propagation, how, pioneering Tao, they would discuss these things. And also kind of plan and, have these classes to enlighten and awaken people. So the Dharma class and the 5-year training classes, okay, that we talked about. So what's the vision and hope of the Tao society, right? Passing down the Tao tradition and culture. Okay, so again, it's like if we don't, if we don't continue to, you can say, nurture, future generations, then the Tao's gonna this transmission it's gonna end, right? So we need to illuminate and admire the ancient role models. Okay, so we always have to talk about those. Talk about them to hopefully to be inspired by them. Okay, resolve to learn from and follow the saints and sages to create eternal peace. Right, to take hold of the this special affinity, right? Closely follow the holy teachers and heaven's mandate and merciful guidance of Lao Chenan and Chenan. To earnestly cultivate and practice, spread the light to thousands of lamps, inherit the past and lead the future, and show the true tradition of the Tao, right? So the hope is to work towards the ideal, that is the world of great harmony, by creating harmony and propagating Tao to the people who have that affinity with us, okay? To achieve the world of great harmony, we first have to achieve harmony in the temple and within the, within the family. Then widen that circle of harmony to relatives, friends, colleagues, and society. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so the Tao Society can help us to cherish the special affinity that we have with Tao in this life, right? Because this affinity doesn't come easy, right? If you think about it, I don't know. I mean, I probably maybe 1%. I don't know what small percent of the world's population knows about the Tao and received the Tao, right? So those who have received the Tao are very, you can say, very fortunate, very blessed. Okay, they have that affinity. So we shouldn't waste it, especially if we've received the Tao. We should definitely, it is worthwhile for us to continue to learn, to study, to practice, to cultivate, right, the Tao, because ultimately that is our ticket to return to heaven, to transcend this cycle of birth, death, rebirth, and this suffering, right? And hopefully to achieve enlightenment. Carry the torch of the Tao tradition, the principles and practice by integrating them into daily life. Yeah, so today it's not just knowledge, it's not academic knowledge, it's practical knowledge that we have to learn these principles and put it into practice, right? That's part of the cultivation practice. Perform merits and fulfill our vows, to light up the heart lamp of the masses, to requite or repay the grace of heaven and virtues of masters. So because we are very fortunate, we should be grateful that we were able to receive the Tao, and to repay that grace, to that debt of gratitude. We should do our best to at least to learn more, to practice more, to cultivate more, to help to continue this Tao. Okay, and to so to spread the Tao to others. So let's see. Oh, okay. So all right. So I just finished with this another song by the Naza Third Prince, scripture, right? It says, today we have the serendipity to enter the Tao Society. right? Earnestly comprehend the Tao, awaken and illuminate our inner light. Serendipity means, like you can say chance or destiny, karma or good fortune. Okay, so let's go to enlighten fairy people after the class. Everyone shows great love and reveals the Buddha 9. Okay. So yeah, again, we have this great affinity to be a part of this Tao society. We should need to work together. It's not one person who can do everything. Okay, so everyone is important. Everyone has a role to play, right? To carry out this mission of our holy teachers, right? To save sentient beings, right? Inherit and promote Tao to benefit all sentient beings. Walk along the path of Tao and stand firm in the faith. To embrace the great ambition and spread the Tao throughout the world, helping people to leave the suffering of reincarnation and reach the shore of eternal happiness. So hopefully, we have to stand firm in this faith, okay, that we have here. Sometimes we encounter difficulties. We don't understand why some bad things have happened to us or happened to us, but we really, to overcome that, we have to have faith. Okay, we have to have faith. The Tao is real, right? The mandate is real, and those principles are real. Okay, they're true. They're all true. So we have to have that faith. Faith is that inner force, that inner power to keep us going. Okay. All right. So that's basically it for this class. If I had said anything wrong or unsatisfactory, I asked the Buddhas and saints for forgiveness, and also asked transmitting masters and lecturers for their corrections. And finally, I want to dedicate the merits from today's class to all the sentient beings who are suffering from the global collective karma. Thank you.